Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon from wherever you're joining us from. Welcome to today's webinar. We'll give it a minute to let other people join, but thank you for being here and being on time and making space to be here with us today. So as for people continue joining in, feel free to get comfortable, grab yourselves a cup of coffee, as I have, and settle in, and we'll get started shortly. And even as we're getting started and giving people time, we've launched a quick poll just to let us know where you're joining us from. As we're getting started, we've launched a quick poll just to let us know where you're joining us from today. It's always nice to see how far everyone's joining us from. So I believe Annette is sharing the poll. Yeah, just to get us to know where you're joining us from. If it's Kenya, if it's anywhere in Africa, or even in regions within Kenya, just to get a sense of where you are joining us from. We can see a few locations coming in. Yeah, you can keep them coming. All right. Thank you for that. And welcome once again. So let's get started. My name is Abigail Angeshi. I am a software engineer at Sibasi, and I'm going to be your host for today's session. I'm joined by Didi Kashemwa, who is a certified Power Platform Solution Architect, and she's going to be leading us through the live walkthrough and demo on Microsoft Fabrics and Power BI. We also have Annette with us. She's from our marketing team, and she's going to be helping us manage the questions and keep things flowing smoothly, even on the background. So now, before we dive in, just a quick housekeeping note. You're welcome to ask questions at any time using the Q&A or chat feature in Teams. Our marketing team will be monitoring those and capturing the questions, as I said. And also just to let you know that this session is going to be recorded. And once the recording is processed, once it has been processed, it's going to be shared with you via email. So keep out for that. So we'll also have some time towards the end for questions, but feel free to engage as we go on. Okay. Now, so before we talk about the tools or the platforms, I think it's important for us to ground ourselves in the reality many organizations are facing today. And so across industries, people are being asked to do more with the same or even fewer. And I believe we all can relate to that. And so what we're seeing here is a real capacity gap. Yeah. Employees are being stretched, and leaders know that productivity has to improve, but without burning people out. And so this is exactly where technology and specifically AI starts to change the equation. So this is a shift we're seeing right now. Every employee having access to Copilot, and every major organization process being supported or even run by intelligent agents. And so this isn't really about replacing people, it's about removing the friction or the manual effort and repetitive work so that the people can focus on judgment, insights, and even impact. But I do understand that this evolution doesn't happen overnight, or it didn't even happen overnight. So if we look at the journey over time, we started with knowledge workers who were doing everything manually, and then we added Copilot to assist. But now we can see we're entering into a phase where Copilot helps manage agents that actually execute the task. And so 2026 is really about the orchestration, not just the assistance. And that is why Copilot is often described as more than just another tool. And I really love how this quote here by Joel sums it up really nicely, that Copilot acts as a false multiplier. So it takes on the heavy lifting. You can think of it as whether it's analysis, it's summarization, it's coordination. So people don't necessarily fall through the cracks. And so the real value here is the consistency, it's the speed, the reliability, especially in complex environments that we operate in. And so to understand this better, I believe it's important for us to talk about the agents. And so agents are AI-powered components that can automate and execute business processes. So they work alongside a person or independently. And so depending on the level of complexity. So some agents are there to retrieve information. Others complete tasks, and more advanced ones operate autonomously based on triggers and rules. And we can take a look at a concrete example right here. So in this example, we can see an agent is responding automatically when a new engagement comes in. It analyzes the email, it extracts the key details, and it assigns the right expertise and notifies the stakeholders and logs everything. So you can see what used to take hours or even days, it's happening in minutes, right? Consistently and even securely. So now when organizations start operating like this, work begins to look different and even feel different for the employees. And so we call organizations that operate this way as frontier firms. So they focus on three key areas: that's delivering more effectively, improving the stakeholder engagement, and even strengthening the operational efficiency that and security that organizations operate in. And so becoming a frontier firm, it requires the intentional change, right? So this framework really captures what that transformation looks like. It's enriching employee experiences, it's reinventing customer engagement, it's reshaping business processes, and even bending the curve on innovation. And to enable this, data becomes absolutely critical. Now, before we go into Microsoft Fabric and Power BI and a bit more details, I think I'd love to quickly understand where everyone is coming from. So Annette is launching a poll just to let us know how familiar you are with Power BI and Microsoft Fabric. And so I believe if you can be able to answer that, just to help us frame the rest of the conversation, right? And get a sense. So I can see the answers that are really coming in, right? And what's interesting here is that whether you're very familiar with these tools or just hearing about them for the first time, the underlying challenge is the same. Organizations need trusted, well-governed data before AI and analytics can truly add the value. And so that's exactly where Microsoft Fabric comes in. So it brings us analytics, data engineering, what else? Governance and BI together in one platform. And it creates a single foundation for trusted, governed, and AI-ready data. And this is where Copilot becomes incredibly powerful, right? So with Copilot in Power BI, users can be able to explore data faster, get insights more accurately, and work even more confidently without necessarily requiring the deep technical expertise. And the result really here is better decision making. It's not just about better dashboards. So this also reflects how business intelligence itself has evolved over time, because we moved from corporate BI handled by IT to self-service BI for analysts, to a third wave where everyone in the organization can work with data. And so you can see that Power BI here plays a central role in enabling that. And so Power BI helps us break down data silos and embeds intelligence directly into everyday decisions. It's about making insights available where work actually happens and not locked away in reports. So naturally, the question now becomes, why Power BI? And it stands out because it makes data accessible, first of all, actionable, and integrated into the tools we use every day. I believe we use tools like Excel, PowerPoint, SharePoint, Teams. And really, it supports the real-time dashboards, natural language queries, AI-driven insights, and custom visualizations without requiring everyone to be a data expert. And so ultimately, what you begin to see is it's about enabling better, faster decision-making across the entire organization. Now, before we move into the live walkthrough, I'll just take a moment to recap everything we have said and the journey we've been on so far. We started by seeing a very real challenge where people are stretched, complexity is increasing, and organizations are being asked to do more with less. And then we explored how Copilot and AI agents help to close the gap, not by replacing people, but by removing the manual work and reducing the friction. Then we looked at what frontier farms look like in this new era and how organizations that deliver more effectively engage stakeholders better and operate with greater efficiency and security. And we saw how all of this powered by data with Microsoft Fabric, providing a unified foundation, and Power BI turning the data into insights that everyone can see. So the natural next question is, what does this actually look like in practice? And to see that, I'd like to hand over to Didi Kashama, who's a resident expert and certified Power Platform Solution Architect, who's going to be taking us through a deep dive and a live walkthrough and really unpacking why we're all here today. So she's going to be going through the key concepts and practical insights to bring the session to life. And even as we go through, just to reiterate, you can feel free to drop your questions in the chat and we'll be sure to capture them and address them as we go or even at the end. So over to you, Didi.
Thank you so much, Abigail. Hi everyone again, I'm Didi, and so we'll be taking you through the live walkthrough of Power BI and show you just what you can expect once you start using Power BI for your financial reporting. So again, as Abigail mentioned, so once your data is prepared and centralized, this is where the magic happens. So if you can see my screen, I am logged into app.powerbi.com, which is the Power BI service, which is basically now part of the broader Microsoft Fabric platform. And from the polls, we had asked what Fabric is, and just to ensure we are able, sorry, just a moment, to see that, I will switch my screen to Fabric so I can show you guys that. So generally, Microsoft Fabric is a platform that brings together multiple data capabilities into one unified platform. So instead of using many different tools for data engineering, analytics, reporting, and AI, Fabric provides everything in a single environment. So here you can see we have data ingestion, we have data engineering, data warehousing. We are able to even do some reporting in Power BI, of course, and so and machine learning. So Fabric brings that all to us in one platform. And then we also have workspaces. And this, just think about this as a place in Power BI where you can be able to bundle together your data sets, your reports, your dashboards, your data in one basket and can be able to securely share that across teams. And also within Fabric, we have something called the end-to-end data platform, where basically it just means that we are able to do a very powerful thing called data journey, where somebody comes in with raw data, it's ingested, and then we put that by transforming it and then putting it in a lakehouse, which is a data warehouse, and then you're able to do some amazing things like machine learning, and finally using BI, you're able to visualize now what you have created, which shows us basically the end results of what we are trying to achieve, which is focusing on Power BI as a service. So this here. Yeah. So moving on to Power BI, we usually say that the easiest way to get started in Power BI data is using the apps. And if you can see my screen again, I am clicking on the apps. So apps is where we are able to quickly get started in building reports and dashboards within an organization. So these apps, what they do is they provide pre-built existing dashboards that organization can inject into their data, so you don't have to start from scratch. What I mean is, if they come to apps, I already have some that I've already gotten for the sake of this demo, but if you wanted to get some, you just go to get apps, and then you are able to search for whatever you're looking for. So if you're looking for HR, you just come to the apps and you search for HR, and you will be able to get it. Then once you get the HR, maybe I think you could say human resource. Yeah, human resource. And you can see we already have one here. You just click and get it now. And then it will install the app for you, and you'll be able to quickly sort of like be able to see your workforce effectively by already seeing what you should be able to expect if you are to go ahead and uh, and use it for your system. So if I'm to open the HR that I've just gotten from AppSource, you'll see it will load, and quickly I'll be able to get a template of an amazing human resource dashboard. This is Sibasi built. So I'm able to see, okay, if I get this, I'm able to see my male head count, female head counts, and the likes. So this is a quick way of getting started with Power BI using the templates. And from here now, you can do what we call data modeling with the data internally and be able to connect it to your data and then immediately be able to get insights on that. So if that might be a challenge now to do data modeling, that's where you may be able to now maybe consult, have a consulting agency or partner, let's say Sibasi, which is a Microsoft partner, be able to come in and help you now model your data, add on to this report, and be able to make more sense of it. So keeping in theme of our of our of our webinar, which is financial, I will show you a couple of applications that we got from the App Store that speak about finance. And from here, you're able to see I have a couple of dashboards that I have downloaded for the sake of presentation. And the first one I was able to think about was an executive dashboard. So in my head, the first thing I was thinking was, what would this dashboard go to answer? And immediately you can think about an executive in a boardroom, and they'd want to know how well is the organization performing overall. So you can see here, it's an executive summary that is showing us key indicators such as revenue, gross profit, transaction, and you're able to see a map here showing you the regions that you currently are running in and how they're performing. In terms of volume, in terms of revenue, you can be able to see. So we have the bigger balls, sorry, showing us bigger bubbles showing which areas have a higher revenue. And if you click on one, you're able to see now the cards sort of like agree with why it's the highest, and able to see the gross profits, transaction per volume, revenue, and the likes. You're also able to see at a glance market share, snapshots, revenue with your key accounts, your top and bottom selling products. You can toggle between top and bottom. And you can also click something and it will show you like how it's performing across the reports. So this can be a very key report that leaders who want to know quickly how their orgs are doing don't have to wait months, days, weeks for the analyst to sit down and analyze it. Quickly, with the click of a button, they're able to see everything in a glance. Also, we have up here filters, and people can be able to see Atlanta if you want to see which division is performing. So you can click this and the whole report filters down to just Atlanta, and you're able to now try to dice and slice and see everything about it in one glance. Also be able to export this into a PDF and share it to a specific group or region that you'd want to see. Okay, so the next report that I got was the sales dashboard. And here I was thinking about the commercial people per se, which helps us understand. Now that we know the overall performance, we want to dig deeper and see how it's happening in terms of analytics and sales. So the dashboard here shows total sales, You also have the invoiced amounts, outstanding amounts, the gross profits, and any number of new customers. We also have the salesperson charts, and here you are able to see quickly your top performing employees and understand where maybe coaching or support may be required. In terms of here, we can see maybe Helena Ray might need more coaching, and you can also try and borrow notes from Jim Olive. Jim is doing less, so you can be able to see who is bringing in more, who's bringing in less, and you can drill through and see more about it and see how to help. We also have a donut chart here, which helps us to see profitability in terms of items. So which items need to be increased in terms of volume or prioritized in terms of maybe marketing, able to make quick data-driven decisions instead of just guessing. So you can see product A needs more marketing to have more visibility, or again, compare and see what did product A do that product B can be doing to get more info. Also, we also have another chart here for top 5 customers. So you're able to see your top performing clients and see how you can strengthen those relationships by either giving, I don't know, discounts or seeing what makes them be top earning customers and such. So yeah, so that's just another report that you can use to be able to make quick financial sense of your company. And then we have the financial team, so financial reports. So we are very aware that finance understands that revenue is only one part of the picture. They also need to know visibility in terms of how the company is doing in terms of finances, which basically presents a detailed balance sheet showing assets and liabilities and equity, which can help leadership again be able to compare their total assets against liabilities and equity to understand financial stability in the organization. So here you can drill down and be able to see in terms of liabilities, which is which. If you click on it, you're able to get more info in terms of how it's performing across the dashboard. You can do this as much as you want, depending on how your data is sitting. So what this does, it just helps you to make strategic investment decisions for the future. And finally, the last one I thought to show was probably the grants management reports. So this is not exactly about finance in terms of, how you talk about profit and loss, but more about the audience wants to see in terms of non-profit and development organizations, reporting is slightly different. So they're not really focusing on revenue, but often need visibility on grant funding and probably future project opportunities. So this dashboard tracks grant opportunities across different stages, from prospects to won or lost, and shows you the pipelines of each. You're able to see which opportunities you have by type, either it's government, corporation, federal, foundation, and then by officer, you're also able to see who has many things on their plates and be able to be able to focus your efforts on either the highest probability of the funding and see where to spend most of your time. So this is basically what you would be able to get in the App Store for Power BI to quickly be able to start without having to think much about what you need. So this could be a start of, you do not have Power BI sales, so you got this report, and from here you are able to now start conversations on what you'd want to see now built upon more. And we are also aware that these apps, as much as they provide ready-made insights, it's always almost all the time that companies will have to create custom reports tailored to their specific financial processes. So just allow me to showcase one custom report that we have built that sort of like does that. So if you are seeing my screen again, you're able to see a report that I have here that has several pages. So we have the income statements, balance sheets, and the financial ratios, and then have an overview giving you a summary of the entire pages in one glance. So here we are able to see that this report is a financial report that helps. Okay, so this dashboard provides a financial overview of the organization, highlighting key performance indicators such as profit after tax. You're able to see the gross profits, the assets and current liabilities. You're also able to see the balance sheet metrics and the income statement breakdown. And what this does in a glance is it helps companies compare budget targets and across periods. So you can see, like, from the first card here, at a glance, I'm able to see profit after tax that this year against last year is this much, and I'm able to see the variance of it. So you're able to select the periods and be able to compare against. So here you're able to see, like, this waterfall here, you're able to do a table view if you want to see a more detailed broken down info about it. So if you just switch it to table, it will show you now the revenue, how it's been broken down, the operating costs, how it's been broken down, and the gross profit and how it's been moving against the years. And again, you can always slice and dice to be able to go a step down and be able to see it more granular as much as you'd want. So that's just an overview of the report. Then if you now want to go maybe and see, like, now in detail of the income statement, so you just maneuver to the next page, income statements, and then here you're able to see a more detailed view from the overview about income statement. So here you can see it's for this specific period, and you're able to see the overall, the year to date, quarter to date, month to date of it, depending on how you want it broken down. And then, like always, you can always slice and dice it down to be able to see it in a more granular way on what you want to see about it. So in this report specifically, we're able to see how revenue flows through operating costs to be able to give us the net profits loss report. Again, able to see the net profit loss card, the budgets, the income, expense, and then the variance down there. So this is year over year. You can toggle to quarter over quarter and just get as much info as you can on a report. So again, it always boils down to your specific needs and what you're trying to achieve at the end of the day. We also have the balance sheets. And what this does is just gives visibility into the financial position of an organization where it's sitting. So this becomes a very important view to be able to see in terms of assets, where are we, scaling it down to our buildings, what was the actual, what was the budgeted, the variance of it, and just being able to quickly understand where everything happens, if it happens in terms of how it was allocated, like what went overboard, what was over budgeted, what was not accounted for, and the likes. So you're able to do that with this report. And then finally, we have the financial ratios, which are just profits margin against the profit after tax margin. So these ratios, I would believe, help executives track profitability trends over time and benchmark, like, the financial performance that they'd want to see happening maybe the next coming time or the next coming year. So another important thing was, as you can see here, this overview was created based on different pages. Supposingly you're an analyst and you want to quickly share this summaries with your boss. Let's say you just come and click on a card, you can pin this. So you can pin this either in an existing dashboard or in a new dashboard and share it with somebody. So you can have different pins from different reports pinned to create one dashboard that can be used now, even in your absentia. So for instance, if I'm to pin this to a new dashboard and give it a name, maybe, I don't know, call it like profit meeting. And then I pin this. So you can pin as much as you want. I can go ahead and pin also the income. And also I can do it on a mobile layout or do it on a dashboard. So for this case, I will just showcase it in a dashboard perspective. And if you pin this again to the same profit meeting, and I pin it and I can go to the dashboard, I'm able to see all the different pins that I have created. And the beauty of this is if I am sitting from a leadership perspective, I don't have to keep calling the analyst to tell me what it means. If I want to see the profit after loss, I will just come here and ask it a question, like maybe profits after tax, and it will immediately give me a figure there and then. So depending on your data source and what you've pinned, you can ask it as many questions as possible using natural language. So if it was a HR report and you want to see your turnover rates over maybe last year, you just ask it like, what is my turnover rate for last year? It will give you a figure. So this again helps organizations not waste time in having meetings, which could have been emails, or the way we say just quick overview of getting like a quick summary of a report that was pinned for you, depending on what you need to see on a need to see basis. Yeah, and that just covers the walkthrough of the live dashboard. I hope I have done a good job in showcasing the different things that you can get in Power BI. Again, it's just like a very high summary of what is possible. We can always work together to get more and more from your existing data. Thank you so much. I'll segue it back to Abigail. Sorry.
Thank you so much, Didi, for that awesome walkthrough. It was really great to see how Power BI brings these concepts to life in a practical and relatable way, from turning the raw data into insights and supporting faster, more confident decisions. And I also hope that everyone was able to follow along. And even if some parts were new or unfamiliar, I think the key takeaway here is what's possible with Power BI. And so, us at Sibasi, we support organizations across areas like reporting and analytics, business processes, automation, finance and accounting systems, governance and board management, and so much more. And so, it's solutions that range from simple to advanced depending on what your needs are. And so, also just to note that this is also a great time for you to start sharing your questions, whether they're about Power BI or data automation, or how the solutions that you're seeing on your screen might apply to your own organization. Feel free to drop your questions in the chat. And even as we continue talking about how we can help, our team is capturing them and we'll be sure they are addressed. So a little bit about us as Sibasi. We are an AI native and innovative technology company. I'm really passionate about delivering excellence and quality with our services and solutions. And we like to operate fast in this digital era, but we always move with intention and by helping you to achieve measurable success and impact across your domain. So our mission is really simple and it's embedded at the heart of our name, Sibasi, which is delivering services and solutions to our customers, which are invested and integrated in their businesses for them to be able to achieve success and impact. And so we like to say that we are a Microsoft solutions partner, and we've also worked with a number of clients across our three core solution areas. We have the intelligence business platform, the Microsoft digital transformation, and the advisory consulting and supporting. First, for the intelligence business platform, we build and implement systems that support governance and daily operations. So from board and executive management systems like eBoard to memo management systems like Smart Memo to CRM, ERP solutions, and monitoring and evaluation platforms. The goal here is really simple: to help you have better coordination and transparency, and even smarter decision making. Second, on the Microsoft cloud modernization, it's where we help the organizations modernize using Microsoft technologies like SharePoint, Intranet's Dynamics 365, Power BI, what we discussed today, and also Microsoft 365 and Copilot. And so this really helps to streamline the operations and improve the data visibility, and also strengthen the enterprise in reporting. And so also finally on advisory, consulting, and support, it's where we ensure organizations maximize their technology investments by strengthening security and improving efficiency and building scalable, resilient data environments. And across all these three focus areas, our focus remains the same, right? It's to help you have practical solutions that deliver measurable impacts in your whatever domain that you work in. And so now I'd love to open the floor for questions. If you haven't already, feel free to drop them in the chat, whether they're about Power BI, data automation, or how this applies to your organization. Or if you have any feedback as well, now it's going to be a good time for those. Yeah. Annette, do we have any questions?
No questions.
Okay. But I believe if you joined us during the session as it was ongoing, just to let you know that we're going to be sharing a recording once it's processed, so you can be able to go through the session again. Now, I know no questions just yet, but it's absolutely okay. I know sometimes it takes a little time to process everything we've covered today. And if any questions do come to mind later, or if you'd like support in implementing what we've covered, you can always reach us through at success@cbasi.ltd, or through the feedback link or the QR, or even you can call us through our office contact that's right there on the screen.
Abigail, I can see Nicole is typing on the chat. So
Okay.
probably we can wait for her to finish and then we can answer her question.
All right. Now the question, Nicole has.
Okay.
Okay. I see also Caroline asked if the systems have HR. ED, would you mind answering that?
Yes. If I could just share my screen for that.
Okay.
Just give me a moment. Okay, just a moment. Sorry for this.
It's no worries. Keep the questions coming in even as ED shares her screen.
Yes, so this is an example of a HR dashboard that is a template that we've done here in Sibasi that we can help you sort of like make it make sense for your organization. So I'm not sure if you had specific questions in terms of the HR dashboard that you'd want addressed, or would this be a good starting point for a HR discussion in terms of reporting? Because we do have different pages. We have the workforce overview. We're able to see at a glance your demographic in the company, male, female, and the current headcounts, and what it comprises of, the total hires, leavers, and the attrition rates, your current employee details, headcounts, if you have disability in the system, in the organization, sorry, and the current headcounts by age to see your squad rates, your average rates. Yeah. Then by department, you want to see the ages, different departments. We also have the attrition reports, which just gives you a glimpse of how it's happening over time, which department has the highest attrition rates, the reason attrition has, then by age group, then by monthly salary range, which can help you make decisions on how to retain your employees. If you see people between the lower tier are the ones leaving, can be able to make quick decisions based on data. Again, we say if it doesn't have data, it's just an opinion. So you always want to make decisions based on data. And you want to understand which department has the highest attrition rates, which department, which position is the most affected one, to be able to well prepare for it. Also, we have the employee profile. Here is whereby you're able to see a specific employee, and then you're able to see their details. So if I'm to click on maybe Alice, I'm able to see Alice, the name, age, gender, phone number, just the details. And then I can be able to see their leave details here, a summary of their, just to be able to we call it anticipate on the financial implications on people who have not yet taken leaves per se. Yeah, so you're able to do that. And then also have the employee development, so which is for the R&D, where you see how much the training costs are costing and how everything is happening. So yeah, so this is just a start. If you like it as is, you're able to come in and see what you have and see how it can marry with this. Also, this is not like the end. Depending on your needs, it can always be built upon. Yeah.
Thank you so much,
So
Didi, for
that's-
sorry. We also have another question right here. Asking if you use Power BI web app feature to make the reports accessible.
Yes, if you mean accessible in terms of sharing it with your team members or sharing it outside, it's possible. So one way you can do is you can either export it as PDF if you want to just share this report as is, and then you'll be able to do it. So if you take PDF and then you just say for this specific page, you can be able to export it with the default values. Also, you can be able to share it with your team members, either in Teams or give access to who you want to be able to access that report. So yeah, you can house it here for ease of accessibility. Also, you can have the workspaces where you can have different departments having different different departments having different workspaces. So you can be able to say, I do not want my HR data being seen by just anyone. So you give access to a very specific niche. And you can see this is the PDF that we got from that report. So you can just be able to take this, put it in a PPT and share it with somebody quickly. Yeah, I hope that was clear and I've not lost you somewhere.
Yes. Thank you. I hope we have answered your questions. Thank you so much for the questions. You still have time if you feel like you'd want to ask more questions. We really appreciate your engagement. And we will also, just to let you know, Caroline, we will also reach out to email for further discussions. Now, just to mention before we close that we have more webinars coming up very soon. Today's session was really part of a broader conversation we're having, and we'll be continuing this discussion in an upcoming webinar focused on modernizing financial operations using Business Central. So if today's session sparked questions around reporting, data visibility, or decision making, the next session goes deeper into how these financial systems like Business Central become the backbone that powers those insights. We'd love for you to join us again. And as we continue exploring practical ways to strengthen your digital capabilities, the security posture, and everyday workflows. So keep your eye on your inbox and visit our website for upcoming dates and topics. Right? Are there any more questions? I hope I'm not holding anyone out. Okay. I see that there are no more questions. So I believe I can take this time to once again thank you for your time with us today and also for your presence and engagement. It truly means a lot. And I believe I say this on behalf of the entire Sibasi team. Thank you for being with us here today and have a wonderful rest of your day and stay safe, please. Yeah. Thank you. You can feel free to leave at any